So the reason I'm making this video today is because over the last few years I've had a lot of my friends and my Lushettes asking me to make a video explaining how I write songs, how I make songs, why I make songs and why I write and where I started from and how I got to here, as in, not as in here, down on my floor. I think people don't realise how hard it is for some people that haven't had the perfect life or the perfect situations, and how hard it is if you have depression and anxiety. But I can tell you now that you can get over it, because to have the sort of childhood that I had and to go through the stuff that I went through and to be depressed and have all these things and to be able to come out the other side of it, if I can do it, anyone can. There's no big secret to it. It's just being willing to work on yourself. I think, you know, you can take tablets and stuff, and if that helps you, that's fine, that's great. But I think ultimately you've got to be prepared to deal with your issues and work hard on yourself. And that's basically what I did. I mean, I've had a lot of therapy. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't take any medication, and I refuse to. Well, apart from vodka. I guess vodka is a medication. It's a bloody good one. When I first started out, I taught myself to play the guitar. I think I got a book, and then I was watching stuff, and I was just sort of learning where to put my fingers. And then I just kept practicing over and over and over again until I learnt how to play. It sounds easy, it wasn't, because when you first start playing guitar, it really hurts your fingers. But I was really determined, I wanted to do it. And me and my friends had all discussed being in a band, but I was basically the only one that bothered to learn an instrument. So after a while I got fed up with that, because they were all just sitting around on a bed just saying what they wanted to do when they were famous. And I was like, well, you've got to kind of do some work. So I started joining bands. It is a hard industry, and there are some real wankers in the music industry, and I think I've probably met every single one of them now. There's men out there that have just took the piss out of me being a woman, as in not delivered work on time, not stuck to deadlines, even though I've paid them excessive amounts of money for them to do that. I don't know if it's just that they are that unprofessional that they can't stick to deadlines, or it's just that they don't like working for a woman like me that is very out there. Maybe that threatens their masculinity, I don't know, but I have had a lot of run-ins with from producers to video editors to all sorts of people that have just took the piss, basically, and that I know they wouldn't treat a man like that. They wouldn't, like, not deliver the stuff on time. How I run my career is that, you know, I have deadlines because I've got radio interviews, so the song has to be finished by a certain day, because otherwise the video can't be finished, the promo can't be done. If I've got radio stations booked up to go on, and then I've got a producer that's not putting my work out on time, which means that the guy that's filming my video can't do the video, which means that all these people are being held up. It looks really bad on me, like I'm unprofessional, which I fucking well never am. But also it's stress, you know, because if you've got an interview for the radio and your song's not finished and you've got a deadline, and especially when you give people plenty of chance, like weeks in advance. But yeah, I've had all sorts of shit, and I've had people trying to blackmail me and all sorts of crap. But that is the industry. I don't know, I don't think you can fight against it. I think all big industries are going to be corrupt. I think you've just got to man up and deal with it. Even if you're a woman. And let's face it, I've got more balls than most men anyway. I think that anybody could do what I do if they have a talent for writing and they play an instrument. I think all you have to do is just work really hard and never give up and just enjoy it, because if you're not enjoying something, then there's just no point in doing it, is there? I wanted to be in a band. When I was about 12, when everyone was asleep, I'd go down to the living room with my pretend guitar and I'd watch all videos and I would pretend to be that person, and I would pretend to be in a band, and I loved the thought of being on stage and entertaining people. And that was the first time when I really wanted to be an artist or be a performer. When I write a song, I don't think about it. I just get words coming into my head. Usually it's times like when I'm running. When I used to drive a car, I used to get songs come to me when I was driving. I'd have to pull over, be like, shit, I've got a song coming now. But a lot of time it happens when I'm out running now, and then it's annoying because I'm running and I'm like quickly putting the words in my notes in my phone. And then later on I'll be playing the guitar and I'll just be, you know, just playing the guitar basically, and I'll suddenly get a really good chord or a good rhythm, a good riff, and then I think, oh, I like that. So then I'll get out the words from the song that I wrote that day, week, month or year. And then I put the words onto the music. That's usually how I do it. And then I record everything in my bedroom, in my little 8-track. If something makes me feel really sad or upset, then I'll write about it. And if something makes me feel really happy, I'll write about it. And if something makes me feel really fucking angry, I'll write about that as well. I like to focus on positive things. So if I have to touch on the subject today, even if it's to help other people going through abuse, is that I say that I don't have any bad feelings against that person, because I think they obviously were fucked in the head themselves. But I look at it, made me a better person, not a better person, a stronger person. It made me who I am. I'm quite a strong person, although I always feel a bit vulnerable. And it also made me very stubborn and very, very independent. It's crazy really, because I'd entered the X Factor, which is a singing competition, even though I didn't see myself as a singer or a performer. It was only my therapist that pointed out that I was. I said to her, oh, I'm only doing the X Factor because I want my songs to go out there, but I don't really want to be up front. I don't want to be on the stage, because I don't see myself as a performer. And my therapist literally said, are you joking? You are such an attention seeker. you are definitely a performer. But until then, I didn't really see myself as one. How I got to get my music played on radio stations and stuff like that was just through sheer hard work, really. At the start, I auditioned for X Factor. I went on local talent shows like the Essex Factor. I got talking to people, I got put in touch with other people, got put in touch with studios, producers, and the thing with me is if you feed me a little something, I'll just run with that and I'll turn everything into something. I always try to make something out of nothing, and I always try to turn something negative into something positive. And I wanted to get played on the radio, so I started listening to all my local radio DJs and all my local stations, because I figured right from the start, I worked out that you have to support these people if you want them to support you. So I just got to know them all so that I could talk to them, and then eventually, like now, I recognise everyone's voices. I know every single DJ on every one of my stations that play me. But yeah, I got to know them, and then they started playing me, so I started messaging them and build up a relationship. And that's it, really. I've always kind of lived in a make-believe world. When I was a child, I pretended that I belonged to a circus, and I used to make everyone call me a Lolita. And I used to I had pretend horses, and I used to feed them every day and pretend to gallop round the living room on them. And I used to pretend to be in a circus. Growing up, my heroes were people like The Clash, the Sex Pistols, the Beatles. I was quite a weird teenager, really. When all my friends were out hanging out on the streets, drinking and doing all sorts of trouble, I used to lock myself in my bedroom and listen to Terry Wogan. So I've always been a bit different. The first band that I joined, it happened accidentally, like most things in my life. I was just playing my guitar, and I was living with a boyfriend at the time, and I was just playing the guitar, and the person that lived in the flat above just happened to be someone in a band, and they heard me, and they literally knocked at the door and said, "Do you want to join our band?" I find it really funny because people always say, oh, if you want something, it won't just come knocking at your door, but knocking at your door. But in my life, things have happened like that. Like everything I've done has come to me. I've not really had to, I mean, obviously I've had to work, I have to put in the hours, but the lucky things that have happened have been just people coming up to me, knocking on my door. What people probably don't understand is that you have to work really, really hard if you want something enough, whether that's happiness, a career, any career. There's a lot of luck involved, and yeah, who you know, what you know. But at the end of the day, if you have a talent and you work hard, it will pay off eventually. When I was at school, if everyone came in wearing a blue skirt, then I would have to come into school wearing a red skirt, because I just never ever wanted to be like everybody else, and I just didn't see the appeal. I just didn't get it. When I was a kid and everyone is trying to be the same, but I was like, why would you want to do that? It doesn't make any sense to me. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that it's given you a little insight into my life and my mind. Whipped it up. I'm mad. And I'm getting a sore arm. I said arm, not arse. It's all nice and fluffy.